Hello, my name is Marino Mojtic and I'm pastor of the International Church Skopje. I'm recording this video on behalf of Petre Petrov, the president of the Evangelical Church. We are in the country of what is now called North Macedonia. We are Evangelical Church in Macedonia, that's how we are registered, and we serve here for more than 30 years. The country of Macedonia has a population of roughly 1.8 million people. That is according to the latest census. And we have the majority of people Macedonians as an ethnic group. Then we have Albanians, and then we have Romani, Serbs, and other minorities. We also have official language Macedonian and Albanian. And then we also have different religions present here. There is Christianity, and the biggest expression of Christianity in Macedonia is Eastern Orthodox, Macedonian Orthodox Church. Then we have also the Catholic Church, and there are certain percentage, but actually less than 1% of different evangelical Protestant churches, of which Evangelical Church in Macedonia is one of them. And then we also have roughly 28% of population claims to be adherents to Islam. Here you can see the map of Europe. And now I'm going to show you where is the location of the country of North Macedonia. So we are on the Balkan Peninsula, surrounded by Serbia from north, Albania on the west, Bulgaria on the east, and Greece on the south. So we are a landlocked country. Here you have another map, but this time it's only of Macedonia, which is representing how the terrain looks like, with all the hills and valleys and mountains and lakes and rivers, and obviously where the cities are located. The city of Skopje, the capital of Macedonia, is located toward the northern border and very close to the border with Serbia. The church has a ministry of over 30 years old now. It started back in the days when the president of the church was Mircho Andreev, and it had the beginning vision which is continuing to grow, and that is to plant churches in every place in Macedonia till we have covered the country. Currently, we have set a goal that we want to do the church planting for 100 places in Macedonia, of which we are roughly on a number 30 right now. Mircho Andreev passed away last year, and we have a new president, Petre Petrov. He is also a pastor of the local church in Štip, and he has been serving there for more than 20 years faithfully. Now Petre continues with the vision of the church, and which is to plant churches, and we still hold on to this vision that we want to see churches in 100 places in Macedonia. Obviously, the church planting is not the only ministry as such as the church does. We also have a theological institute where we train our future workers. Then we are also involved in helping poor people with food packages and maybe medicaments. There is also a very beginning of helping students who are poor and providing some small amount of scholarship for them so they can go and continue their education at the college level. And we are so grateful that God is expanding all kinds of ministries within all that the Evangelical Church is serving to the nation of Macedonia in the current days. The spiritual need of what we see right now, and it's been going on for quite a number of years, and that is that people in general consider themselves believers in God. They don't doubt that they are believers, but the problem is that they do not know Jesus and they do not read the Word of God. That would be concerning the people who consider themselves Eastern Orthodox believers. Then on the other side, we have Islam followers, and obviously they are so strong. Plus, in the country of Macedonia, the problem is that we have people who identify their nationality with religion, which means if you are Albanian, then you are a Muslim. If you are a Macedonian, you are Eastern Orthodox. So any change is almost prohibited, not by law. Things are happening, people can change their faith, but in the sociological terms, in context of their families and wider families, that is so strongly opposed. And I will give you an example. In one of our local churches, there were some people who are Albanians coming to the church, and they loved it. They enjoyed the fellowship. They started reading the Bible, and one day they stopped coming. When the pastor finally met them in the town and asked them why they stopped coming, they simply said, "Our families told us, you go to church and forget about us, or you go with us and forget about the church." So they had to make the decision, and their decision was to stay with the family. In general, evangelical Protestant churches, as such, carry a fairly acceptable reputation for now. Prior to our second president, Boris Trajkovski, we were all seen as a sect. But because he was from the Methodist Church, one of the evangelical Protestant churches, the evangelical Protestant churches in general were accepted as okay with the wider population. So at least in that context, we have good standing in the society. Thank God for the change, because it does give us open door for different ministries, and as I said, when people are doing different kinds of serving and ministries, they encounter open doors for that. However, the spiritual climate is still hard, and it's really there are a lot of obstacles to deal when it comes to the gospel, when it comes to the reading of the Bible, because unfortunately there are still cases where our believers, when they go and share the gospel, are seen as enemies to the nation because they're not Orthodox and they do not belong to the Macedonian Orthodox Church. Though these cases are rare now, they're still happening. And obviously now there are different challenges with the new situation regarding the COVID-19 and all the measures. Chinese Church can partner with us, obviously, first and foremost with prayer. We do appreciate your prayers, and we need them. That is definite. We need prayers because we want to see God breaking through this nation. As I show you the map of the terrain, you could see that it's mostly with the mountains, so that means a lot of rock, and it's very rocky. So I would say that even the spiritual condition of the people is very rocky. There needs a lot of work to be done to ground that rock, even in the spiritual sense. And yes, please, there are blessings that our church can share with the wider church body, and that is that though young, we do cover our basic financial needs. So all of our local churches cover their financial local costs, which is a blessing. Some of them even have rents, so they are covering those bills. But unfortunately, we do not have enough funds then for the workers. because we obviously want to send new workers to new fields, and we lack money for that. We lack money for the current workers. There is always need for that. So please pray that God will make a breakthrough, and also that there will be a breakthrough in finances, so that all the ministries that we see and we want to be engaged, we are able to fund for the glory of God. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Yeah, thanks for the video that they are doing the teamwork, and we are encouraged for the 21st century Macedonia, and they have the burden to plant churches. They want to plant 100 churches. 我们为做马其顿来感恩，他们是团队所以有录制的，还有会长，还有今天在这边的 Pastor Philip。那么我们感恩他们是要建立100间教会，也邀请华人教会跟他们同工。在经济上呢，东欧的国家是比较需要那么我个人有做过一些统计马来西亚的老师的薪水是东欧比如阿尔巴尼亚、马其顿他们老师薪水的3倍高，所以我们是能够帮助他们的。So I just tell my fellow Chinese brothers and sisters that yes, thank you. We would like to pray for Macedonia, and also we can share because you are blessing us 2000 years ago, and also now you are also bless us spiritually, and all the resources in fact are God's one, is not us. So we can together we can bring the good news to more people. 所有的资源都是上帝的，不是我们任何一个民族、任何一个教会的，都要在上帝的国里边被分享，我们能够祝福巴干半岛。And Pastor Philip, pandemic, because last year March, after I left, I heard about the pandemic. I really pray for you all, and I feel the pain, for the loss of Pastor Mikro too. 为做他们的会长。因为确诊之后去世，我心里边也很疼痛。那么during the pandemic, what are the loss of crisis the churches face? Maybe we can know more. 可能你可以告诉我在疫情之间，你们的教会面对有怎么样的挑战
？Well, thank you, Dr. John, for this opportunity and for this privilege to be present with you today.
谢谢院长给我们这个机会，让我们能够参与在其中。
And if you were wondering how the man in Apostle Paul's dream looked like for the call, it's probably something like this.
那你如果在想说这个使徒保罗他所看见的这个马其顿人是怎样的，就是大概是这样子。
And I thank you that you have heard the call and that you have answered that call even last year.
谢谢你，因为你听见了这呼声，也回应了这个呼声，特别是在去年的时候。
So as all of you know, the world has been in turmoil and in crisis, and Macedonia has been even in a bigger crisis since COVID hit.
那我们都知道，全世界现在这个困苦当中，马其顿也不例外。马其顿也在去年疫情一爆发之后，也面对困苦的时刻。
At the moment, Macedonia is number 1 in Europe and number 3 in the world when it comes to COVID fatality rate.
那马其顿呢，现在是整个欧洲排名第1，还有全球排名第3，确诊死亡率最高的。
So in this past year or so, we have lost many dear people around us, and one of them is was the former president of our church, Pastor Mircea.
那我们周围呢有很多人因这个病毒而死亡，包括了我们的福音派教会的会长。
But we know that as Christians, as followers of the crucified Christ, we're called to follow him and to serve him through every situation and in every occasion possible.
我们跟随的主耶稣，他被钉死在十字架上。我们身为他跟随者，我们在这苦难当中也继续的跟随他。
So when last year in March and April we were locked down and we couldn't have the services, we couldn't join as church.
去年3月、4月，因这疫情爆发的时候，我们不能够参与教会的聚会。
What God placed on my heart is to actually be out there and to be serving the people who are in need.
那我们呢需要隔离，但是呢，我的心中的一个负担就是要去到外面去帮助有需要的人。
And God opened some amazing doors that have resulted in a great number of miracles happening in the past year and a half.
上帝就开门了，在过去1年半的时间，很多的神迹奇事发生。
By God's grace, the church was able to provide for masks and face shields for the hospital, the police department, the ambulance.
因着这个上帝的恩典，我们能够提供这个的口罩、面罩给这个的医院，甚至政府单位。
Because even the hospitals, they didn't have the equipment to deal with COVID patients.
甚至呢，我们看见呢，医院呢不够资源来帮助确诊者。
Then the church here in Veles was able and is still doing that. That was doing before the pandemic, but now it just increased. That we're taking care of close to 100 families with food parcels every month.
那现在呢，因着疫情，我们需要每一个月呢帮助大概100个家庭。
We were able to open a soup kitchen providing hot meals for 30 people every day.
我们每一天呢打开我们的教堂，提供这个食物给大概30人。
We were able to visit people that were in quarantine and to bring them their basic needs because we met people that were hungry for a couple of days. They didn't have any food to eat.
我们能够去帮助那些在隔离的人，我们为他们提供食物，帮助他们，因为有一些在隔离当中呢面对饥饿。
And the government recognized the ministry of the church.
那政府呢也认可我们所做的工作。
And when it was the strictest lockdowns, it was just the police, the ambulance, and the church that were allowed to go in the street.
而当这个面对整个国家面对收紧的时候呢，只有警察、医院就是还有呢就是教会可以到街上去。
And because of everything that happened in 2020,
因为这些在2020年发生事情。
And I don't have the time to tell you all the testimonies that came out of that.
在2020年事情发生的时候，有很多的见证，我不能够一一的述说。
But the end of 2020, the mayor of my town and the city council here, they awarded me the Citizen of the Year Award, Philanthropist of 2020.
但是呢，在2020年尾的时候呢，我所在的这个城市，这个市长、政府单位呢，他们颁发一个的荣誉给我，就是说最好的市民的荣誉。
And it is the first time that a Protestant pastor is recognized and has been given that award.
这是历史上的第一次，新教的牧师能够得到这样的荣誉。
But that is a testimony of God's glory and the power of Jesus in crisis, that he showed his love through the church to our community, to our town, and to our country.
而这也成为一个美好的见证，看见主耶稣基督的大能在这个的艰难当中彰显了出来。
So if I'm being very honest,
若我要很诚实的来告诉你
this past year and a half, in the morning, I could cry because we've lost somebody because of an illness. And then in the afternoon, I was jumping with joy because God has done a miracle in another situation.
若我可以告诉你，过去1年半的时间，我的每一天的生活是怎样呢？早上我会哭泣，因为周围有人死；但是中午的时候呢，我会欢喜快乐，因为有神迹发生。
So I really understood the words of the Apostle Paul when he says, we are sorrowful, but we're always rejoicing.
所以呢，我可以理解保罗他所说的，就是在困苦当中又能喜乐。
We are poor, but we're making others rich.
我们虽然
we don't have anything, but yet we possess everything.
我们虽然贫穷，但是呢，我们却可以使人富足。我们没有什么东西，但是神也供应了。
So thank you for all of that, because I believe it was an answer to your prayers for us and for the church in Macedonia.
谢谢你们为马其顿的教会的祷告，你们祷告蒙应允了。
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Pastor Philip. Thank you for this. Yeah, we are blessed. We are blessed. 我们感觉到很蒙恩。